If you're into the tuner car scene, then you may have noticed lately that a lot of people have been taking to 3D scanners and scanning their vehicles. And part of the reason is because we are fundamentally at this inflection point of what we are actually able to do as do-it-yourself tuners. If you go online today, you probably see people making body kits, making aero, making even custom turbo kits. Fact of the matter is that prosumer products like 3D printers have never been easier for people to just turn on and make whatever they like. Your imagination really is the only limit. So for those of you guys who have been following the channel for a while, you know that I'm in the middle of doing a K24 Turbo DCT swap on my FR-S, and this is basically going to be my dream track car. For the month of September, we're going to be going pretty hard on trying to get as much done in this car as possible. That's why the first step before we do anything major with the swap is to get our friends from Collective Works in here to do a full professional scan of the car so that we can create some custom parts that are perfectly suited for the car and what I intend to do. Stick around and find out what we're going to be making, and you might be surprised at what you're able to pull off nowadays. We're going to be plopping the car right here. It's never going to be this clean again. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, Tim. What are we doing today?
I think we're gonna scan your car, right?
Yeah. So if you guys haven't heard of Collective Works before, their main product right now is a drillless license plate front mount for your cars that you don't want to put holes into. The way that they pull this off is essentially they do a custom scan of every single front bumper of cars that they support, and they create essentially like a sandwich bracket that most cases will sandwich to the front and the back of your grill, and then you can mount a plate to that. We actually have one of their pieces on the shop BRZ, and it looks super clean, and it's just nice that you don't have to put any holes into a fresh bumper. Here is the shop BRZ, and this is the Collective Works front mount, holeless and drillless mounting solution that is attached to the grill itself. And it's through this product that they make that we are able to essentially connect with them to help us out with the K24 Turbo DCT build and use their very fancy equipment to get this done. I wonder if it's going to look good in the scans.
I think it looks great. Even move the engine out of the way for us.
Yes, it's an empty vessel right now, but just a bunch of cobwebs from having been outside for the past little while. Yeah. So I guess we'll pick those up on the scans too.
Yeah, we could do a little bit of cleaning here and there. Some stuff we probably want to zip tie out of the way if we want like
something cleaner. Yeah, makes sense.
Something cleaner. But
yep.
Yeah, I'll get the scanner and then we can kind of go over it and see what we want and what we don't want.
What are you looking for as you're examining the piece right now?
I'm just looking at like things that we could potentially move out of the way, like that hose there, for example.
Yeah, the radiator hose.
Yeah, we just want as little artifact as possible so it's easier during the cleanup.
Yep.
So normally our scans are like exterior of the car, so I'm just trying to see if there's anything that might be a little bit different. But we'll see. Just like small stuff like this, it generates artifacts in it that you're not sure what. Like you have to like I'll show you in cleanup. It's
yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna do like a test scan just to see what it looks like, adjust the resolution, and then go from there.
All right, and just to fill you guys in a little bit on exactly what we're trying to achieve with the scan. Mostly, we're actually going to be designing our own custom turbo kit for the K24. Now, with the K-Power kit, we mostly have a lot of the pieces from the builder's kit, so you know how the engine's going to fit. And predominantly, what we're mostly interested in this space here, beside where the battery and the strut tower is, because this is where the exhaust side of the header is going to go. And so we want to make sure that we have a good scan of this area here, and everything else is kind of just nice to have for later in case we make some other parts. But we definitely want to focus and clean up that spot right there.
We're gonna have to use the stickers because I don't have the little balls they sell that have like there's like octagons or hexagons.
Yeah.
They look like little soccer balls with a bunch of dots on it.
Yeah.
But we just haven't had a chance to make them. But we got a big roll of stickers.
All right, Mr. Tim, so tell me about this machine over here.
So this is a scanner made by Creaform.
Okay.
This is our second one. We bought our first one, I think it was called the 307 Elite.
Okay.
It had fewer lasers, it was a little less accurate. On got us a trade which is great. So we upgraded to this. This is the black series. So it's actually the
Black series sounds fancy.
Yeah.
So if a random person off the street wanted to get this machine, how much are we in for here?
So I think, what was it? The standard one was 30, and then this was probably like 70, 80 if you don't count the software package.
Jeez, that's crazy. So I think what a lot of people will want to know then is nowadays you can get a lot of prosumer scanners.
Yep.
Like in the 1,000 to maybe like on the higher end of the prosumer, like $5,000. What can you expect to really be the difference between something like this, which is like literally more than 10 times more expensive, than something you can get like on Amazon?
I think personally, so I haven't had much hands-on experience with some of the scanners in that price range, so it's kind of spoiled that we just jumped right into a Creaform scanner. But based on what I've seen through demos at like trade shows and stuff, this offers the easiest post-processing. I think a lot of the cost and a lot of what Creaform offers is in the software.
Yeah.
Obviously, as well as the accuracy of the scanner, but I think the software, which I'll show you in a bit when we start doing post-processing, is pretty slick, and it operates pretty quickly, and there's a bunch of features within the scanner and the scanning software that allows you to kind of have on-the-fly flexibility when you're doing scans. So whether you're doing small scan, like for example, there's smart resolution where like while you're scanning, you can toggle between a high res or a low res. Like let's say for example, what we're doing, if we want to really focus on the mounting points or where you're going to have essentially some modeling done, you can basically, while you're scanning, highlight the area that you want at a higher resolution, and the scanner kind of automatically takes care of that.
Nice.
So the other nice thing about what they have is, and I'm sure some of the other ones offer it, but the post-processing is really easy, because if you were to bring it into, for example, I'm assuming most hobbyists would use something like Fusion 360. The model, once it's exported into Fusion, it can get really laggy.
Yeah.
So what they can do is there's features in the software that allow you to keep the geometry, but also reduce the amount of vertices and the geometry that's being brought in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have so much to load.
It's like using proxies essentially almost.
Yeah, it kind of basically like, you have a really focused area of, basically a lot of vertices, and sometimes you don't need all that.
Yeah.
And it preserves the boundaries, and you can tell it how much deviation your tolerance is from your actual scan, and it'll make the best assumptions and let you preview it before you actually go for it. So yeah, I'd love to hear what other people have to say about like some of the scanners and the more, I guess, $5,000.
Yeah, like the consumer, prosumer.
Well, yeah, I mean, even then, those feel like they're slightly higher.
Than, for sure. But it's just changing so fast, right?
For sure, and I think this is going to become a lot more readily available just based on how quickly 3D scanning kind of picked up, right?
Yeah.
Like when we were starting to do collective works at the beginning, we've tried a Kickstarter scanner, and it just really wasn't it. So, and within 3 years, right? We had no scanners. We had tried a scanner, potentially looked at it, it was kind of out of reach, and then having the ability to go to this directly, which is crazy, right?
Okay, so how do we get started? What's the first steps?
So I think what we're going to do is probably going to clean some of the surfaces.
Yeah.
Where we're going to be putting these the stickers, which will essentially help the scanner get its bearings.
Yeah. Now the stickers, like I'm assuming that just gives it like some static references, but when it's trying to like stitch things together, right?
Well, it's when you're scanning, right? It gives it essentially tells it where it's at, where it's been.
Yeah.
What'll be so on the higher end one, I think
is it like, what's the surface of those dots like? Is it a specific like?
Yeah, I think
is it a specific material that's like reflective, or like how does it work?
If you can focus on that, you can actually see the center is a slightly different material than the outer ring.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay,
it's reflective, and it's almost like I guess it's like shimmery.
It just kind of bounces back to.
Yeah, it's not just like a white dot that's in the middle.
And what does the scanner itself emit? Like what's the technology? Is it like IR? Is it like lasers?
It's laser.
Like, okay.
Yeah, they call it blue laser.
Blue. Is there an optimal amount of these dots that you should put on? Like, is there a limit to it? Like, what if you cover the entire surface with dots, or you just have like 2 or 3 is not enough? How do you think about it?
So when we asked that question, so that's a pretty good question and probably pretty common when you find a scanner.
Yeah.
I think the older one we had, they needed to be a bit closer. This one, they said it's 1 every 4 to 6 inches depending on geometry.
Okay.
Essentially the what's the word I'm looking for? The minimum to have in full range at all times is 3.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have 3 while you're
Right, that's the whole point of triangulation, right? You need 3.
It kind of loses positioning, and then you kind of have to move it back so that it can find kind of 3.
That's just basic math, guys. You need 3 points to be able to locate yourself in 3D space.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm sure I'm not doing the Creaform engineers justice on explaining just exactly how their technology works, but
That's
it's
fine.
brilliant. Yeah,
Okay.
it's an awesome piece of technology that allows us to do stuff like this. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
All right, sick. Well, we're going to clean up the area a little bit, and then we're going to get going with the scan and see how things go. And I'll just keep peppering Tim with annoying questions and until we learn as much as we can. We got our first single lonely dot over there. It's hanging out by itself. It's like fun and games, man.
I know. Sometimes you just have to eyeball it. It's like they eyeball it and you test it and see where it loses tracking. And you just add where you need it. The nice thing about the scanner is that even if when you subtract stuff, it doesn't like it. But you can add stuff and it'll say, "Oh, I noticed a new dot there." And it's fine.
So what would happen if you put all those like on your face and you try to scan your face?
I've actually never done that.
Yeah?
You can try that if you want.
Like, cause I want like would you have to be like super still?
I don't actually know how that would work. You'd probably have to close your eyes for the lasers, but
I mean, people do it. They like make like miniature versions of themselves, right, with scanners.
yeah, we can
But-
try it with your head.
I don't know if I want to. Let's say we're scanning something like an engine block. Does that also require the dots?
Yeah, we'll have to put the dots on it. They do make like that, like I said, that I know stuff.
The balls?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
Oh, and you just kind of place it around the object, right?
It's nice because it's magnetic.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, this would work a lot better if I connected the power. You get like there.
So do you usually start with like a higher resolution, or
Yeah, well, we're gonna do a test scan, see how it looks, and if it's gotten a detail, if not, we'll drop it down.
Alright, so before we do the scanning, we're gonna do a quick calibration of the equipment so that yeah, it'll be able to get an accurate scan. I don't know if it's getting picked up on the camera, but you get fancy blue lasers going everywhere. Probably shouldn't put it straight into the sensor of the camera, but it looks kind of cool.
It kind of shows you the position of the scanner,
Yeah.
and then and that's it.
It kind of reminds you of the game for like the Space Mouse when you first get it.
Yeah. So,
Gotta flip the teacup.
a little snap on.
What's that for?
It's for removing
Oh, the stickers?
stickers.
It's
So
for- Why does it have to be Snap-on branded?
I'm not sure. You can email Creaform about that. We could theoretically do this in multiple scans. So as long as the dots line up, like you can have multiple scans in the 3D space, and then you can say merge scans and use the dots to overlap. And what's useful about this is if you're scanning like a valve cover,
Right.
on the top of the valve cover you can scan it once.
Yeah.
As long as you're able to line up the dots on the edges and it's present
Right.
in both scans, you just hit automatic find.
Yep.
And it's able
And
to
it'll
just
stitch
line
it.
up and then
And we'll probably have to do that for some of the smaller parts, right?
yeah, we'll probably have to do that for like the motor mounts.
Yeah. I was kind of half expecting it to make some sort of fancy noise, like vroom, 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 vroom. No.
No, it doesn't.
It's just completely silent.
So now you can see all the dots that it's picked up for like a starter reference.
Yep.
So you can kind of see
So
how
it's
we
just
map.
putting the dots into 3D space for now.
Yeah.
before the
exactly.
surfaces.
So we're gonna set the resolution to 1 mil should be okay for now, and then let's see what.
What's standard for scans these days? The resolution.
I mean, it really depends on what you're doing. I think this goes all the way down to 0.1, which
A tenth of a mil. That's
a tenth
crazy.
of a mil, which is crazy because I think they use this scanner sometimes for structural analysis for surface cracks and stuff.
I see.
But 1 should be okay. 1 is what they
Whether a
usually
bridge is
start
gonna
with.
collapse.
Yeah, pretty much.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think aerospace uses this. a
I
lot.
see. Yeah, makes sense.
So they'll do like structural analysis, and you probably want to calculate this.
All right, I'll be able to see both. Yep. We'll see the live results on screen here, while Tim is
Test scan.
waving the magic wand. And what do the lights mean on the back?
So this essentially allows you to scan without having to look at the screen. Green is you're in the perfect range for scanning.
Oh, distance to the surface?
Yeah, distance is 30. Yellow is too close. It goes all the way to red.
Yeah.
And then blue is a little too far away. So you can kind of use this to gauge whether or not it's
and not get like a crank neck from constantly looking at the screen.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So let's see what we got here so far. Look at that. I mean, that looks pretty slick already. Jeez, look how fast it is. Like
Yeah,
when I've seen like ones online before, like they're a little jittery and they take a little while to put the surfaces together.
and it'll turn off completely. So if it's lost tracking, it turns off completely to tell you that, hey, I can't see anything.
Mm.
And then you can probably just get it. I think for a test scan, this is pretty good. Alright, let's see. Let's have a look.
All right, so walk me through what you're kind of looking for in the scan.
Looking for resolution. So, like for example, you can see 1 millimeter resolution. This looks kind of
A little rough.
little poo.
A little bit.
Doesn't look very good. So we can a couple of things we can do. We can either keep it at 1 mil for general detail. I think we should probably go down a little bit more. And then dig up the manual to see how we can activate smart resolution. So we had first scan, and you saw that there were some parts that looked a little poo. It didn't look very good.
Your words, not mine.
But as you can see, if you can enable something called it's a manual resolution mode. So what it does is you can specify certain areas where you're like, I want a little bit more detail here. And
You just like hold the button while you're scanning, or how does that work?
So you can. So let me see if I can get this to respond. So when you're doing the scan, right,
Yep.
you just double click the button here.
Yeah.
And you can see it says high resolution enabled, and then it'll be able to, and you can do probably in editing, you can do a comparison between before and after.
Yes. Yeah. We've got the before.
And you got high resolution disabled, and then once we pause the scan, you can actually specify how high it goes in the manual resolution up here in the menus. So when you do the drop down, we have it at 4x. You can go as high as 8x. And actually, you can do the opposite, which is, let's say you have a super high resolution scan.
Yeah. And you want to
say,
go faster in certain areas.
Faster in certain areas, you can actually go down to like negative. I think it's negative 8x.
Doing this, like I can already tell, is like one of those things where like you can just keep redoing over and over and over again until you get everything perfect. But you do have to remember like what your purpose and your goal is. And for us, what we're actually trying to do is create a manifold kit. Exhaust manifold kit, like return pipe, downpipe, blah 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 for the turbo. So you just need to make sure that it's got enough clearance to fit in there, right? And we just need to have a good understanding of where the mounting points are for the engine, and to figure out how much space and how big we can make that manifold so it doesn't kind of bash against the tower or the frame rail or something like that. Give it a little bit of extra space because obviously the engine's going to move under torque. But other than that, like, yeah, it doesn't need to be, 0.1 millimeter accuracy on everything.
Yeah, you don't need to see all the stress fractures and stuff that you're.
Yeah, I'd rather not. It's like stuff that's like now that I have a highly detailed file of it, you just start staring. It's like, oh, is that broken? Do I need to replace that? Like, no, it'd drive you crazy.
Yeah. So what I can do is that we can even do a super high res scan, and you can actually see the speed difference between so we're at 1 now for a resolution 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
So for the next scan, don't panic. I'm gonna reset the scan.
There goes all our progress. Bye bye.
And keep the targets. So if you ever need a redo, you can do this. And oh no, there goes our.
Oy. Track pads.
Okay, so we're gonna set this now to 0. What we normally scan for when we develop license plate brackets is around 0.3, 0.4.
Mm-hmm.
And go for a scan now. So obviously now, when we start doing the scan, it's gonna take a little bit longer. It's not gonna come in as fast, and you'll actually be able to see how much slower it comes through.
So when you're holding the wand by your hand, like how do you know when to start panning?
It's just it's kind of like it's not really that advanced in terms of like technique.
Yeah.
It's like a hose. You kind of just spray the area.
Right, but as you said, like when you go into lower resolution,
Yeah.
or higher resolution, I should say, right? It takes longer for the results to come through. Does it tell you when you should start panning?
Yeah, so we have something called smart resolution enabled, and what it's telling you is, so you'll see that there's blue sections, right? Blue sections are where it's certain of the data. Yellow areas are like the software's way of telling you, actually, we need a little bit more time here.
Right.
You need to go in here and do a little bit more scanning. And we
But
can,
I guess what I'm trying to say is like you actually have to then reference the screen to be able to tell how fast you'll be panning.
You can't just like kind of wave it around. You kinda have to
Done.
Whoosh,
whoosh.
Yeah, you kind of have to
One
go back and
pass.
forth, double check your work, make sure you are getting all the tight areas. But
Yeah.
so if you look at where it's yellow now,
Yeah.
if I go back in here and I restart the scan, you'll see that the yellow section will essentially become.
Blue.
So we set it to a pretty high resolution where you can get the
Wow, look at that. That's funny.
same thing with like the
Should we put some dots on your face?
Yeah, we should try it.
do an Enrique bubblehead.
We'll do like how old am I really?
So we've gotten to the point of the scan where you have to get pretty comfortable in the environment to get to some of the smaller crevices.
Yeah, I have to make sure I move around and not scan my own knee.
We're gonna get a Tim thigh and a knee inside the model.
And then you'll see as we move over, it's gonna pick up the new markers.
I just can't believe how fast it is. It's crazy.
It is, yeah. That's one of the reasons why we upgraded. This is the pink dots that I was telling you about.
So what's pink dots mean?
Pink dots means that it's lost tracking for these and it doesn't know where they belong.
I
But
see.
Luckily, so what that means is you have to pause the scan and
Okay.
it deletes it, and it uses all the other dots to reaffirm which one's missing, and then
Okay, so we've gotten to the point of the scan where I think we're pretty happy with what is inside the engine bay, and now we're gonna lift the car up to get a little bit more of the transmission tunnel, because with the DCT swap and then trying to route the eventual downpipe, we're gonna have to clearance. Okay, now that we have the car up on the lift, we're just gonna round out the trans tunnel, basically the transition area from engine bay to the underside of the car.
now's the fun part. So you see what the software is going to do now
Okay.
is when you hit the finalize button, anything that is colored in yellow, it's going to start removing, and it's going to basically leave you with the final scan data. And while you're doing that, it's also going to remove all the dots.
Just literally drawing a circle around it.
And then when the computer stops,
Oh, magic. It's just severed. Gone. While the software is decimating the file, we're estimating we might be able to reduce the number of triangles from over 60 million down to the 30s, hopefully. We've set up the block of the K24 over here, and we're going to get that scanned as well, because you need basically every single piece that's connected to the subframe up to the manifold to be in a 3D model together, so that we know how much space we have for building the turbo kit. So what are you doing now, Tim?
so I've been pretty much done with the scan.
Yep. And why are you removing the stickers?
Well, because they're a bit expensive, and it'd be nice to reuse those on your engine block.
We're balling on a budget here. Save money where we can. Like the important things is basically like you see the two bolt holes on the side.
Yeah.
Like this is basically like engine mounts stuff. Did you get my finger?
No, I'm glad it's smart enough to.
Avoid the finger. So when it's single line like this, it's focusing like the reading in that area instead of like the whole lattice.
Yeah, and because you can focus the laser in on. If you come here and see, it looks like a supermarket scanner.
Yeah, right. You're just going like one layer at a time, basically.
And you do it slowly, and it's able to pick up the details.
Yeah. It's so cool looking at that blue line.
It's pretty mesmerizing.
It really is. So now we've literally flipped the block upside down to get the rest of the surfaces. And I think what Tim is going to be able to do now is have two separate scans, and we're going to try and magically merge them together afterward.
Aligned.
Yeah, they're just smashed into each other right there.
Yeah, so to fix that, we can use the alignment, and then we can use target best fit.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So, automatic, set it to start with 6, and then I hit its preview.
Whoa, look at that. So fast, you almost miss it. So I'm really glad that this fusing of the two scans worked, because I really didn't want to put this thing on an Ninja stand, because it's kind of just digging through the bolt bin to find things that'll make it fit. But that's really cool. You just like scan it twice, you flip it once, and yeah, you get like one unified 3D scan. Very cool. Always got to make it spin.
Always gonna make a spin. Easier with a 3D mouse, but
So we're done with the block. Well, I should say the bottom end, the girdle plate and the block itself. And Tim is going to show us how you can actually start using some of the scans to create catable surfaces.
there we go. Now, if you look at the top down, you'll actually get the bottom end, and we can actually go in and do the same thing for the sides. Let's say, you know what, this boss here, I want a surface on that, and then that's going to be my. Let's make sure that is your ZY plane. And we'll set plane number 2 to your YZ plane. And now it's perfectly aligned in your coordinate system.
Jeez, look at that.
And to mate this with some of the other surfaces, you can actually have it generate catable surfaces. So, for example, if I want to do, I'll do this on the block as well. So you'll have 2 rods that you can essentially do a concentric
Look at that.
alignment on. And then now it'll be able to perfectly align it.
We're doing the head now, and it's still pretty dirty because we haven't sent it to the shop yet. So we have to clean up the surfaces a little bit to make sure that these dots will stick. But yeah, we're gonna make do best we can. These have been reused a few times already, so they're definitely losing their stick a little bit. Not since not since he. So I'm now starting to realize that 3D scanning is less about scanning and more just about putting dots on things. That's what it is. It's just putting dots on things and then watching the dots fly off, because this head is greasy AF. So we basically finished scanning the engine bay, the entire long block of the engine, as well as parts of the transmission tunnel. And what's left to do is essentially scanning the transmission, the motor mounts, as well as the turbo itself. We got a big boy turbo, G35-900 for this thing. But that I think we can save for another day. I literally just put things in my car and drive over to Collective Works and get those scanned. Hopefully this will give you guys an idea of what it takes to scan some parts. You know, I kind of joked a little bit about like placing the dots everywhere, but in reality, I think that's really what is time consuming, because the scanning itself goes pretty fast. Now, of course, we have a bit of an advantage using this kind of like an industrial 3D scanner, but the technology is improving very, very quickly, and I think consumers are going to have such great access to tools that like just didn't exist a couple of years ago. So if there's any advice I can give if you're thinking about doing something like this, if you are going to have your parts washed or sent to a machine shop, I probably do that first. Again, because you have spent so much time just sticking on those little dots everywhere. So Tim, overall, what are your thoughts on exploring scanning something this big and these large parts today?
It's actually less than time consuming than I thought.
Yeah, you were ready to bust open the sleeping bag and just sleep in the car, right?
Yeah, I thought we might be here till the evening, or we have to schedule this for, you know, multiple days.
Yeah, but we made really good progress. It's like literally the only big piece left is just the transmission that's just like chilling over there against the wall, but we just do that later. So if you guys are interested in 3D scanning services, Collective Works in Marco Montero, honestly, this place to go. They've got the fancy stuff. You've already met Tim. He knows what he's doing. And he'll happily put stickers all over your car, inside your car, on your face, and scan it for you. Whatever projects you guys might have, they are definitely the people to partner with. And honestly, your own creativity is the limit. So just have at it, go crazy, build stuff. It is a great time to be a DIY modder because honestly, we can build things now in your garage that you couldn't even dream of a couple years ago. Like I said, we're gonna be going really hard in the month of September to try to get this build as complete as we can. And just as a reminder, K24 Turbo DCT, there's a few of them popping up. I think everyone has a little bit of a different flavor in their builds, but I think the DCT builds they're coming. There's already a few, and I think it's gonna be a track weapon. Fingers crossed. We'll catch you guys on the next one.